Question. A lot of times when I'm talking to people, I'll explain to them about the rape and things like that. One of the first responses I get from a lot of people is, "Oh, but my nana was from Spain. She wasn't a racist." How do you counter that?
Mi abuelo vino de España. One of the biggest fucking lies that our people spread. Okay? You hear it again and again. I don't really know you all that well. We know ourselves a little bit. How is it that in your family and my family and other people I meet all in California and Arizona and Texas, la misma pinche mentira? How does it come about? Okay? That, first of all, it's about 99% of a lie. Okay? Oh, because somebody is muy güero. Is that? I've heard these stories. Oh, es que mi abuelo vino de España. ¿De qué parte de España? Then the lie stops. And say, bueno, pues es que se miraba como un español. Oh, se miraba como un español. Oh. ¿Pero dónde era? Oh, he was from Guanajuato. Pues no que era que your grandfather came from Spain. The thing is, you got to confront first on that part of it. Because if every Mexicano y Centroamericano and all Nican Tlaca who claims that same pinche mentira, there will be not one fucking Spaniard left in Spain. Just think about it. But that's also about self-hate. I hear the other part of it. Yeah, I may look like a fool, but let me raise my pants like you can see I'm a little lighter. It's kind of related. But let's take the other angle of it. I ran across this brother and sister, and they were going on with this. And they were going on about how their grandmother came from Spain. And I looked at them, darker than me, and they're giving me this story. And they went at it. They were insisting that they could prove it. And it turned out that their grandmother really did come from Spain. Era una gitana. Okay? A gypsy. A dark person from Spain. But they were trying to give the impression, I'm white. In case you don't know, gypsies are not white. Okay? That's one example where actually but they insisted they wanted to prove it because they had met their grandmother and she was from Spain. But they're saying, it gets to the thing of, okay, my grandfather came from Spain and it wasn't a rape. He came here and he fell in love and blah, blah, blah. Well, the rape comes from the fact that what the hell was he coming onto our land for? There is something called the Stockholm Syndrome, where someone is kidnapped and they're being held for a long time, and after they get to know each other, and then there's sex involved. And it's not rape. But by law, it is rape from the point that the person was kidnapped. And basically they were convinced to surrender sexually. And there's a similar thing that's basically accepted. This is over a period of centuries. They have no business being here to begin with in 1492 or in 2010. And to say, oh yeah, but it was not forced. It is forced. Just because mentally you can say, oh well, it was a marriage, y fueron a la iglesia, y blah, blah, blah. It's still an ongoing rape. It's too intellectual for most of our people to understand that. So, I don't know if I fully understood the way you were, yeah. But it still gets back to the thing of that they want to defend the Spaniards. They want to defend the Spaniards at they kill 95% of our people. Well, that's a long time ago. They stole 100% of our land and they're still profiting from it. Yeah, but do we gotta keep on chillones and crying about it forever? Do you know of any other people that talk like that? Who celebrate rape? Who, when you present to them facts, that gets back into what I was talking about, psychological damage that has been done to us. We don't fully realize. It's kind of, here's one. What's one of our favorite expressions? Un hijo de la chingada. That was the expression the Spaniards used against us. And we behave as if we're Spaniards. We don't even think about, ¿qué es un hijo de la chingada? ¿Cuál chingada are we talking about? And why are we talking like that? We talk like we're Spaniards. And this isn't just the güeros that talk of our people. This is a full blood will talk like that. So it's a lot about psychological damage that has been done to our people. We're not even conscious of it. We speak in pendejadas, one after another, and we think it's, qué chistosos somos, ¿verdad? You know, there's a lot of habits that we have que son habits of slaves, they're habits of an ignorant people, they're habits of dishonored people, of people who have no warriors to keep the discipline, to keep the honor. In case you didn't notice, we don't have warriors to defend us, or to keep discipline amongst our people. So there are a lot of different things that we're not fully conscious. ¿Por qué estoy hablando este pinche idioma de español, or why am I speaking this fucking English language? I'm enslaved, even in the language. We're not conscious of that. Oh, pero ahora que estoy hablando español, ahora sí soy. ¿Soy qué? Un pinche esclavo de los españoles. See? So it is about shaking up our people. But just shaking them up, pues se te van a encabronar, you know. You got to give them the knowledge. But part of the thing is there is a resistance to even reading a knowledge. You know, it's something that's going to save our people. That's why we're doing this, again, with videos. We're doing it with graphics. We know it's very difficult. We don't have a multi-billion-dollar budget. We're doing it with what we can. And the reality, there's heavy resistance. Our people have been poisoned in their minds. I am poisoned right now, even as I'm speaking to you. That's how bad this is. So imagine those of our people who know nothing of all this. Yeah, I can get angry and go confront Eddie Olmos. You're a big fucking vendido. We've confronted him again and again and again. But I can be honest enough to say, you know what? Who made him that way? But we still confront him. But to be honest about what made up all of this monstrosity, the terrorism that goes on in our communities with gangs, the drugs that are in our community, who brought all of that? If you look at the whole gang culture, that's totally European. It's got nothing to do with our people. But you try talking with somebody who's part of gang culture, they'll argue with you out of ignorance. In the same way they'll argue, my grandfather came from Spain. They'll argue with, ¿qué hijos de la chingada son esos? Tú muy español que te crees. You know, there's all of these different things, and guess who's laughing at us? Guess who's laughing? Los criollos, los españoles, the people who have the wealth of our continent, the people who are profiting from all of this. Ay, andan en carcajadas. Those funny monkeys, we got them. We got them. We got them good. And every time we work to liberate our minds, the biggest resistance comes from our own selves. We've fed this information to our people and get them to at least understand it, and people do understand it, and then they go back into the gang culture, or they go back into the drugs, or they go back into making money. It's all about money. Or they go back into, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go out and have sex and get drunk and watch sports, los Lakers and los Dodgers. And blah, blah. That's all that really matters in life. It's a pretty ugly thing. It's a pretty ugly thing. And when we speak this hard truth, a lot of people get very angry. And why are they angry? Because it's a lie? No, because la mera verdad les duele. And it's difficult, and that's why we have to be patient with each other, because every one of us is poisoned. Every one of us You know, how do you think I know a lot of all this stuff? You know, I never called myself Latino or Hispanic, but the mestizo thing, that was a big part of how I was raised. You know, and that's how I understand that mentality. I know it from experience. Yeah, I know todas las cancioncitas de eso de mestizo pride and all that shit. So a lot of this, it is about reality. This is going to be very difficult. Look at us. Can anybody think of anyone out here, whether it's here in Phoenix or in Mexico or East LA or whatever, as far as an organization? I mean, we're a tiny organization. But do you know anybody who's out there representing our people? Anybody in this room? No. What? Oh, but there's only 5,000 of us, right? It's millions of us. How about even in Mexico? Anybody who's speaking for Nican Tlaca, indigenous people? Oh, gee, there were the Zapatistas and Comandante. What was that all about? Anybody still believe in that shit? It was a Marxist thing. It happened, and good, our people were trying to revolt against something wrong. But what happened? They were feeding them all this Marxist stuff. And for those of you who didn't see, they were making the little dolls. Did any of you ever get those little dolls Zapatistas were making, where our people, our Nican Tlaca people, were putting blue eyes on the little dolls? So, did our people in Chiapas learn anything about themselves? Are they really free? Some of you probably read a lot of stuff about Zapatistas and all this, pero ¿qué pasó? They got worldwide attention. You had celebrities going down there. Rah, 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 rah. Was there really any real solution being offered there? It's part of the history of failure of our people, because when we don't get to the core of knowledge of who we are and to confront this as colonialism and white supremacy, we will fail, we will fail, we will fail again and again. And even in this that we're talking here, we got a lot of young people in this room. You're going to be very old people at one point, and it's still going to be a struggle. But what we want to do, for those of you who are very young right now, with the children who are going to come after this, it's going to be even tough for them. But with each generation, we want to purify and purify until we get that poison out of the minds of our people. It is a lot. It's a lot to ask, because who's going to provide the guidance? We don't have the money to deal with it. We don't have a power structure, and because we're slaves. We're slaves in our minds. We're slaves in every way you can think of. But hey, we can walk around here. Nobody's gonna. Where's the chains? You don't need chains anymore. That's the ugly part of it. You don't need chains for this type of slave.